No joke.
All right. Thank you for the generous introduction, Kat. Let's double check that mic.
Sure. Steve.
That one that way?
Point to me.
Point to Patricia.
There you go.
No.
You can leave it there. That's okay.
Do you want me to switch
All
it?
right. Well,
No,
GCK, I'm so honored to be here.
box.
You know, I know I'm going to bring up Kathy later on, and I want to share a little bit of how I feel about her as a human being and just being part of this. But I got to tell you, I don't get a lot of time during the summer to work because I run a whole other organization. But when I work. And when Kathy told me in the beginning of the summer, she said, "Are you going to come see me in Houston?" You know, my first reaction was absolutely. It was not an option. I was going to come this summer. I was going to come be part of the first summer and meet her team. And I cannot even express to you guys how lucky you are. Our team back in Florida, we miss her terribly. But we're so proud of her. And I know I'm going to cover a little bit more of that. But I'm just glad to be here. I'm glad to be here. My objective today is to really change your perspective when it comes to this business and when it comes to your life. That's my objective. I know the title of my talk is Secrets to Selling Success, but you know, when it comes to 13 years, actually in a month, it will be 14 years that I walked into Vector office. 14 years.
Yeah.
It's been an incredible ride, and you know, one of my favorite things about the business is the way we're givers and we like to help people. And I always felt a responsibility that I've been so blessed and lucky to have this opportunity and to make so many of my dreams come true. And so it comes naturally to me to come here on my own money just to help. So I do hope, and I want to invite you guys because at my SC1 back in my division in Florida, I said, you know, sometimes it's weird how people can be intimidated because they see somebody that's done a lot and they're like, well, maybe, you know, it's kind of hard to talk to them. Or I gotta tell you, I'm just another human being. I'm just like you. I just have like maybe 10 or 12 years, you know. That's it, right? So I invite you that as I'm like walking around, don't hesitate to talk to me. I'm totally approachable. I'm like a normal human being that just sells a lot of knives and I love it. That's it. Is that a fair deal?
Yeah.
So as I'm sharing my thoughts here, I wanted to make this very precise and very easy for you guys. So when you go home tonight, you have a different perspective of what's possible for you. That was my biggest objective as I was coming here. So to do that, I broke down my thoughts into two parts. So we're talking about selling and succeeding, and essentially we're in a sales job, right? This, if you haven't figured that out, well, I'm going to tell you right now, that's what we do. Okay? And it's awesome. Now, by the way, who here had sold something before they started selling Cutco? Okay? Not a lot of people, right? 50-50. And some of you, I mean, I sold t-shirts in high school, right? And I didn't even understand what was possible. I just bought them for $6 and sold them for $20, right? That's a pretty good return, right? So, but as I came into this business, I looked at things very differently. And one of the biggest things was the product, and I fell in love with the product very early on in the business. Part of it is because my dad he's a Vietnam vet, and he had a K-bar knife, and that was his favorite knife. And growing up, he would always have that knife by his bed. And when I walked in the office and I saw the K-bar sign, I said, "You guys are associated with this brand?" And they're like, "Yeah, we own it." I'm like, "No way." I'm like, "That's my dad's favorite knife." You know, and that kind of like a little bit gave me a different pride of like, man, this is actually a pretty cool product and a legitimate company. So at that moment, I decided, okay, I'm going to try this, and I'm gonna see what's possible, right? So to succeed in sales, though, as you put your thoughts into it, to succeed in sales, and this is after 14 years, everybody has a different opinion. That's my opinion, based on a lot of experience and learning from a lot of amazing people in our business. I think there are two parts that play a role in succeeding in sales. And I'm talking about the nitty-gritty here. I'm talking about what are the two parts. The two parts is you and the customer. That's it, right? Because how do we make money here? By selling, right? So how do we make that process enjoyable and amazing for both parties so we can leave the transaction happy? And that's kind of what I want to transfer to you guys. How do you get to that place every single time that you sit down with a customer? So my first part is going to be kind of like paying attention to your customers and what could make the difference when it comes to your customers to get them to that place where they are happy, they're inspired, they're ready, they want it, they want it, they want it, they want it. And then the other part is going to be, how do you do that? Well, how do you do that is the way you prepare yourself. And I'm going to talk about that. So be ready for that. I will talk about that longer because that's what makes the difference. The product will sell itself. If you cut and you do the demonstrations and you're a nice person, you don't smell bad, people will buy you. Okay? That's the truth. But how do you make the difference? How do you get that 60% of people that are on the fence that might not do it, but because of you, they will do it? Does that make sense? And I'll tell you guys, after 14 years, I can tell you, I am proud to sell this product. Like, when I walk in somebody's house or I'm at a home show, I'm representing the product, no matter where it is, like, I know that I'm selling a good product. And people see that right through me. So I'm going to help you guys probably get to that place. And if I do get to that, you to at least further than you were when you came here, please tell me, because that would make it cool. Thanks for the slideshow to keep moving. Okay. I want to know here in this room, who here would love to be a loser in their life? I'm glad everybody, that's definitely not you. I'm glad nobody raised their hand, that means you're paying attention. People always do what they see. Who here wants to be a champion though? Yeah! Everybody wants to be a champion, right? I have never met somebody that tells me, I want to be the biggest loser, unless it's weight, right? I want to be a champion. I want to be the best at something. I want to be the best at a certain level in my industry, and in our case is, you could be the best in your office, you could be the best in your division, you could be the best in your region, you could be the best in the nation. There's so many different things, but everybody wants to have to be a champion. Well, it starts with your mentality, and I kind of want to talk about that because it's part of preparing yourself. A champion controls emotions, and I think that speaks for itself, right? You'll see the difference when you see a champion walk in the room. Like when you see the district manager Jordan, who won the Silver Cups, you can see that he's a champion. I noticed that. I saw him walking through the room. I'm like, this is a champion. I didn't even have to see him on stage winning that Silver Cup. I could see that. The way he presents himself, the way he talks, you can see he's a champion. And he's always on point. I saw that the minute I got here. The champion believes. You got to believe in something. In this case, well, you know what? I always tell myself, there is a reason why, for some reason, I walked through those doors in August 28th of 2001. There's a reason. So I made the choice very early on that as long as I was going to be here, I had to believe. But I didn't just believe blindly. I found all the reasons that made sense to believe. I believed in certain people. I paid attention. I believed in the product. I learned about the product. And I'll tell you guys one story. That was probably one of my favorite stories, probably second week on the job. I set up an appointment with one of my mom's friends, and I walk in, and she said, I really don't have a lot of time, but, you're your son, so, come and sit down, and whatever. Okay. And I put the book down, and I opened the book, and she said, oh my gosh, you're selling Cutco? And, naive as I was, in my mind, can you imagine that this is possible? I can stand in front of you guys 14 years and being very strong, but 14 years ago I wasn't, right? I didn't know anything. And in my mind at that moment, my thoughts were, is that a good thing or a bad thing? I didn't say that out loud, but that's what I was thinking. And she got super excited. She's like, I love Cutco. I've moved 3 times. I have a ton of Cutco. And she started opening drawers and she had Cutco, that things that I've never seen. I saw my first super shoes that was in stainless. And she said, cut the penny. She was very authoritative. So I said, what do you mean? This penny is like, the scissors are 27 years old. And she said, and I'm like, I don't know if it's going to cut it. She's like, you should be ashamed of yourself, cut it. That's awesome, right, when you see those things. And champion comes prepared. I'm going to talk to you guys about that a lot later. And a champion never quits. So, all right, so the first 3 parts, you guys probably want to write this down. Number 1, emotions. These emotions that I'm talking about, they are emotions with your customers. Reach out to your customers' emotions because people do business with people they like. Number 1 tip I will tell you about this, be yourself. Be yourself. Master yourself. Connect with the customers. Let them in. You want people to open up to you, open up to them. Share with them your dreams. Share with them your goals. Ask them about theirs. Like, go into little things that are a little bit deeper than looking at the paint on their wall. Okay? So reach out to their emotions. And your objective on every contact with a customer is that at the end of the appointment, they're thinking, man, I wish this was my son. I wish this was my daughter. That's your objective. So think about that and see how you can make that happen. Number 2. Oh, yep, we're good. So this is one of my favorite customers. I just kind of wanted to tell you like how I get my emotions. My customers, they want to kill me. That's what happens. She's one of my favorite customers. She's got over probably $8,000 or $9,000 at this point. She has an ultimate set, cookware, and all that stuff. Right? Number 2, trust. This is probably the most important thing. People will buy because they like you, but also they trust you. They trust you in a sense that they trust what you're saying. So don't lie. You don't need to lie. I remember at the beginning of my career, I thought I needed to tell people that the knives were going to stay sharp forever. No, that is not true. The knives are guaranteed forever. We'll sharpen them for you forever. We'll take care of you forever. If you tell somebody that is educated that the knives will stay sharp forever, well, they will probably know that you're lying, because that doesn't exist. But you don't have to say that, because the service that we give to our customers is impeccable. Believe in that. Trust in that. So make sure that you are trustworthy, that you're credible, genuine, and driven. I'm going to talk about one of them in particular. I think the other ones speak for themselves. When I talk about credible, I mentor a lot of people in the business, and something that I noticed recently through mentoring people is that sometimes when they present themselves in the beginning of the appointment, they always talk about how, hey, I'm just checking this out, and, this summer, and see what happens. And you know what? I'm going to tell you, when you say that on an appointment, you just sold probably half or less of what you could have sold. Because nobody wants to invest in something when they just heard from you that you're just checking it out and you're probably not going to be here later. Think about it, right? Why would you want to buy from that person? And that happens so many times. I have customers that bought like a trimmer from their nephew, and then I go there, they buy $1,200 from me 2 weeks later. True story. True story. The difference was, at the end, when she actually revealed that she had Cutco, I said, are you serious? Why did you tell me? She's like, well, the person that came, you can tell they were just doing whatever they were doing. You believe in it. You got me excited about it. You got me to cut something. Right? You educated me. You made the process fun for me. I want the knives now. I don't want to just help you out. I want the knives. And I want to help you. Okay? Be genuine. I think that speaks for itself. Just be real, be yourself. If you spend enough time with me, you'll probably understand that that's a very important thing. And of course, be driven. Be like your division manager. I hope that you guys get to understand just how driven she is. It's unbelievable. Number 3, logic. So first we had emotions. Second we had what? Logic. Trust. Number 3 is logic. Why do I talk about that? Think about it. People want to feel good. Those are the emotions about why they should buy the knives. They want to trust you. They want to trust why they should buy 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. They should think about buying for later. But also they have this checklist in their head, right? And that comes from part of the presentation and how professional you are and how educated you are about the knives. And I know that throughout the breakouts, you're going to have a lot of speakers talk to you about closing and maybe names and uses and all of that stuff. Pay attention to that. If we don't even have a chance to cover all of it and you're not sure, ask your managers. Ask your managers. I can tell you, they believe in the product. That's why they have you selling it with them as a team. Ask your managers, how can you do something better? Go and back to cadet. Get more names and uses. Be comfortable with that process. Because then you can really go through the checklist. When you don't know something, don't be afraid to tell your customers, hey, I don't know this answer, but I'm going to find out. Text somebody. Be that person that they can count on. That they can tell that you are trying to be the best version of a sales representative that you can be. Because that's what makes a difference. Now, to do all of that, these are the things that are important. 20 things that are important. All right. Work on yourself. How do you guys like that? So, for you to be prepared and get your customers to that place where they feel good, they trust you, and all of that, well, you got to work on yourself. You got to work on yourself, work on your skills until you look like a horse like that. Just kidding. Okay, let's talk about this for a second. What do I mean by work on yourself? Working on yourself means you take responsibility for what happens to you. I can tell you, and I think that's something that has carried me through this business. When I first started in the business, when I was failing in certain cases, I always took the responsibility. I never blamed the product. I never blamed the knives. I never blamed the company. It was always me. How can I be better? Like Kathy said earlier, don't wish it was easier, wish you were better, right? I took on that responsibility. Anything that happens to me, I take on the responsibility. And I am responsible. Build this business as if you were going to be here 30 years. Why do I say that? Well, because I didn't know that I was going to be here for 14 years, right? I didn't. In fact, you can ask my region manager. Every year I told him, one more year, one more year, one more year. And then by the time it just kept happening, it was like, hold on a minute, I have like 1,000 customers now. I have like 1,500 customers. And my customers keep on buying from me. The people in the business are amazing. I have some of my closest friends in the business. Like, this is a dream come true for me. And now I'm building a medical clinic, and it basically belongs to Cutco. Like, I mean, in the sense of Cutco representatives built this clinic. It's incredible the kind of stuff that we've done as a community of this business. But my advice to you is every single day that you wake up and you said you were going to make phone calls or you were going to do, whatever you're supposed to do that day, whether it's an alliance that you have to attend, be the first one there, the last to leave. If you do that, I guarantee you cannot fail. That was my attitude. I'm going to put everything on my side. I'm going to build a relationship with customers as if I was never going to leave, as if they could count on me for the next 14 years. And boy, it has paid off. You have no idea. It has paid off a lot. I worked about 5 to 6 months a year. I'm not saying you should do that. Not yet. In the beginning, I built it. I built it. I built it with my customers. I trained them to buy every year. Last year, I was out of the country for a month during SC2. Unfortunately, it was a dream of mine to go to the World Cup, so I went there. And I sent out an email and postcards and sold $7,500 just like through my postcard. Didn't have to do anything. And then I came back for 4 days and did like 5 appointments and sold 15 grand for the push. That's great, right? That's possible when you build it, when you nurture your grass. It looks good. Okay? That's what happens. So, so let's work on ourselves here. I got 5 points for you guys if you want to write this down. The first one to work on yourself, and this is something that's going to drive you. You know, sometimes, a lot of things you'll get from people that have been around the business a long time. The difference between selling a little and selling a lot is what's in your head. It's how much you believe that you can do it, how much you believe that how much you are on point with your business. And a lot of it starts with your mindset and your vision. I'm not going to spend too much time on that. I know, like, Kathy's probably going to cover a lot of this. But what's your mindset, though? What do you want out of this opportunity? Think about that today. I think, I'll give you an advice. If you don't know what you want. If you don't know what you want, is do the best you can while you're here. The best you can. So when you go and stand in front of people, you said, I did everything I could. When you're on stage at SC2, you said, I did everything that I had the power to do. Have that kind of mentality. And then have a lot of vision. Have a vision board. I'll give you guys a 5-second of this. All the top people in our business, we buy like a very big board and we put a lot of things that we want in our lives. Right? In mine, one of them was go to the World Cup. I spent $13,000 to go to the World Cup. That was a pretty nice little vacation and investment, right? Here's the best part. I spent $5,000 of that on just the tickets to the games. That's what's crazy. But it was my dream. I wanted to do it. I got 2 things in one trip. I got to go to Brazil and I got to go to the World Cup. I was like, you know, it has to happen. There's so many things that you want, and you allow yourself to want those things. I'll give you another thing that drives me, and you can borrow some of those things. I have a wish list, not a wish list, a dreams list. That's on my phone. I read that thing at least once a week. And, you know, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's yours, right? And I hope that all of you, at some point today, you start, whether it's on your phone or on a piece of paper, you start your dreams list. And part of it could be in the business, part of it could be out of the business. Maybe one of them is to, like, take your mom on her 60th birthday on a helicopter ride. I did that 2 years ago. And I just literally picked her up on the morning of her birthday and said, we're going somewhere. And when she got to the airport, she's like, what are we doing? I'm like, we're going to take the tour of Miami. But, like, we're going to look, you know, we're going to be 10,000 foot view. And that blew her mind away, right? But that was so much fun to be able to do that. When my sister moved to California, my sister has a master's degree. She's very educated, more educated than I am. I only have a bachelor's. But she had acquired a lot of debt, and she actually got this awesome opportunity to move to California 3 years ago, and she called me, and she's like, and she's my older sister, so it's very tough for an older sister to say, hey, can you lend me some money? And I'm like, how much do you need? She's like, $3,000, because that will make everything easier for me to move. I'm like, okay. All right. I'm like, give me an hour. Let me think about it. And I texted her, I'm like, check your bank account. $3,000 on her bank account. And then she calls me, she's like, okay, so what are the terms? How do I pay you back? I'm like, why do you need to pay me back? It's a lifetime gift. Keep it. I don't want you to have debts. Just move to California and start fresh. Why do you do that? Things like that are awesome when you can do that. Would you guys agree? And those things that were part of my dream, to be able to do things like that. And I'm just so grateful that I'm able to do that right now. But you have to make sacrifices. Not everything's easy, right? So you got to make sacrifices. What are successful people willing to give up to get what they want for their future? By the way, guys, I don't share these stories with you guys to brag about what I'm able to do, because it really doesn't matter. The only reason I'm sharing it with you is because somebody shared some of their things that they were able to do 10 years ago, and that got me thinking differently. So I think it's normal for me to tell you guys what's possible. So what are you willing to sacrifice? Are you willing to sacrifice going out every night because it's summertime, and I know it's kind of fun to go out every night and drink with your buddies and, and things like that? Sure. And you know why you'd be willing to sacrifice that? Because 10 years from now, you're not going to remember those parties. I can tell you, because I'm the 10 years later. You're not going to remember those parties. But what you will remember is all the experiences that you had, and all the sacrifices, the money you made, the people you met, the person you became, the things you were able to do. So monitor it. I know most of you guys are young. You want to be able to celebrate. You want to be able to be free. One of the things that attracted you to this opportunity is the freedom. I get it. That's why I'm here too. But I decided to work hard at it so it could get better and better and better and better for my life. But I did sacrifice in the beginning. I cut some ties with people, in fact, which I'll talk about that in a second. People that were not worth my time. People that were pulling me down. I have no problem cutting people in my life anymore. It was tough the first time. But now it's easy. Because I know what I want. And I hope that you do too. Number 3. So those are sacrifices, right? Circle of influence, right? I know they touched upon that earlier in relationships. Who do you give power to impact you? I got to tell you, I wish, who here is under 21? So just so you guys know, I started at 21 years old. I wish I would have started at 18. I wish. Here's the thing. The people you give power, this is how important it is. The people you give power to impact you is probably one of the biggest decisions you're making in your life right now. What I mean by that might be the person you're dating. It's true. That might be your best friend, and you've been friends forever, and it's kind of hard to tell them no when you know you should be doing something else for your future. Just like that. Think about those things. That's very important. I'm going to tell you guys one story. Hopefully it will inspire you. I was 22 years old, and my biggest circle of friends were people that I went to college with. And that was my group of friends. We partied all the time. I live in Miami, right? So you guys can only imagine how that life is and how the temptations are, right? So, but for some reason, I had a goal from the beginning of my career. When I first started selling Cutco, I made it a goal that although my parents had bought me a car, I wanted a brand new car. 5 months after I started, I bought a brand new car. It was a Honda Accord. It was brand new, with my name on it. It was awesome. And I put $5,000 down. It was one of my best experiences, remembering to do that. And I did it. I started at 21, and I was like, I gotta buy it while I'm 21. So I literally bought it right before 22. That was my goal, literally a week before I turned 22. And part of it was I knew that if I had a good car, I would feel good. I would feel like a successful person. And I would keep being successful. And I would keep making those calls. Because I earned it. And I wanted to keep it, right? I got leather seats. I got all those things. I was happy with it. My friends who made fun of me for selling knives in the beginning, every time we had to go out, can we take your car? I'm like, sure. But you know what? A year later, I kind of started thinking, I'm like, I want more. I bought my first house at 24, literally 2 years later, and I said, I want more. I want to buy a house. I want to start investing in real estate. I want to invest in businesses. I want to think bigger. I want a bigger future for myself. I don't have time to waste. And that group of friends, all they would do is do a lot of, drinking a lot of important Mountain Dews, and wasting a lot of time. Wasting a lot of time. I'm like, this time is valuable. I don't want to work after I'm 50 years old. I want to retire earlier than that. I wanted to work early so my life could be better and better and better. That was my goal, right? So I remember going to a restaurant, and I met this restaurant owner, super successful guy that works with his family. And I told him, I was that person that was always searching for answers. I'm like, what's the answer? What's the answer? And I remember talking to him, and I said, what is the biggest decision you've ever made in your life? And if you have to pick one, I know you probably have 20, but if you have to pick one, what was it? And he said, I let go of the people that were pulling me down, that would not go in the right direction, the same direction as me, that did not want the same things. I let go of family and friends, people, like on a regular basis. It's not that I was an enemy with them. I just let go of them, right? Like slowly. And then I started to like become friends with the better people, people that want more, people that want what I want. And I'll tell you guys, why do you want that? Well, I'm going to tell you why you want that. You want that because you only have one life to live. One. So my thing is, if I'm going to have people in my life, I want the best people. I can be friends with anybody. Why do I have to be friends with the losers? Right? Think about it. Successful people are cool too. In fact, they can do cooler things. Right? Because they think bigger. That's why Kathy is one of my closest friends. Because she thinks bigger. That's why we built the Miami team together. Because we thought the same way. And it's crazy because ever since she left, sometimes I look around and I'm like, man, you know, I was one of the 5 people. You know, have you guys ever heard this? You are an average of the 5 people in your life? Yeah? She was one of my 5s. She still is. I just don't get her every day. You guys do. I get her on the phone. I get her on FaceTime. We FaceTime all the time. It's cool, you know? Better not. So, think about that, guys. Who are you going to give up? By the way, for me, it was hard to give them up because one of them was like my cousin, who were very, very close. It's actually one of the reasons I moved to Miami. That was very hard. What I did, I just kind of let it go slowly. I just kind of stopped responding when we were hanging out. I'm like, I'll see you guys on Saturday. So I started to like slow down on the hanging out with them and hanging out more with the people that like wanted more. I just kind of shifted it. And we're still very close. So it's not like we lost the relationship. It's just that we grew out of it and it became better for both of our lives. So think about that when you're making your choices with people in your life. Number 4, self-motivation and perseverance. You know, that is probably one of the... Who here thinks that they need people to push them? Be honest. It's okay. Raise your hand with pride. You need people to push you, right? You know what? I gotta tell you, that's good. Find the right people. There are some people that you can trust, you can believe in your office. Your managers, they've sacrificed a lot to open their offices. I can tell you that. I run an office. They've made that choice to help other people be successful. Trust them. What do you have to lose? You know, like some people tell me, well, you know, you just want me to sell more knives. Okay, well, when you sell more knives, who makes more money? Sure, he does or she does too. But what about you? Do you make more money or you make less? You make more, right? And I'll never forget when my district manager told me in the beginning, he's like, yeah, I want you to sell more knives. Is that cool? I'm like, yeah, it's cool because I'm going to make 50% and you're going to make whatever, right? So think about that. You're on the same team. Let them impact you. Why not? They made the sacrifice to do that. to help you change your life, to grow, to learn, to do whatever you want to do, to be in that position one day that you can do whatever you want. So think about that. And you have to persevere. Remember that every action, everything you do every single day will either hurt you or help you in your future. And some of my big things that I always think about, this is part of like having that conversation with yourself. Never give up until it works. Never give up until it's over. And people quit right before the success. And my favorite, if you invested the time, see it through. Right? I remember when I started selling cup, I'm like, all right, I'm making 15% now. I already invested this time, I'm making 15%. I want the 20. I want the 20. I want the 25. I was at Rev, and I would take my calculator every single week and see how much my paycheck could be if I sell X amount. I didn't wait for the paycheck to come up. I would do it on my calculator. I was at Rev. And I gotta tell you, it helps you. It helps you think bigger, it helps you do things. So, self-motivation, sometimes it's something that you have, and then sometimes it's something that you have to develop. And you can develop it. And a lot of times it comes with confidence. People become more confident, not necessarily that you're not confident as a person, but you might not be confident with what you're doing yet. Does that make sense? So, you might need a little bit of pushing. Allow that to happen. Allow the right people to push you. And then develop that independency. Develop that self-motivation. And read some books about it. It really helps. And then challenge yourself. You know, one of the things I do, I challenge myself all the time. I do want to break my record. I think it will be really phenomenal. Am I scared of it? Yeah. Which is crazy, because I've done it. Right? I've done it, but I'm still scared of it. It's a lot to sell 55 grand in 2 weeks. But if I don't do it, I'm just going backwards. That's how I see it. I'm not moving forward. I'm not growing. Does that make sense? Think about that. Think about how much you want to grow and the person you want to be. I know pretty much probably 75 to 90% of you want to be parents one day. Right? Well, this is your chance to groom yourself to be the most bad ASS parents that you can be. Okay? This is your chance to train yourself to do that. What are you going to tell your kids? Yeah, don't worry, just be mediocre. Mediocre is so much better. Are you going to say that to your kids? No! So look at yourself in the mirror and be that person that you want your kids to be. Be that person right now. Because then it will be very easy to teach them. Because you've gone through a lot of adversities and you've gone through it. Here's my last point, guys, for you, and then we're going to talk about a couple of tips here, if I can ever get to the next one. Let's see here. Work ethic. You know, the work ethic is one of my favorite things because in the beginning of my career, I was that rep. And I want to kind of transfer this to you guys. You guys are lucky. You guys are lucky for one thing. You guys have a division manager called Kathy Vasquez. Now, here's why I say that. She sold a lot of Cutco. She sold over $300 and some $1,000. She was on her elite group of the salespeople in our region before she became a district manager. She sold and she managed at a very high level. Her average order is ridiculously high. And one of the things that we did together is grow and develop that a lot when she was building her office and I was building my business. And so I'll tell you, you're in the right place. Our average order in our office was greater than any other offices in the whole Eastern region. Hands down. That's why we beat everybody. Right? So you have that. But here's the kicker here. The challenge is when you have a good average order, sometimes you become lazy. Right? At some point in my career, I thought, but I'm not better than anybody else if I'm still mediocre in my work ethic. And how much higher could I take it if I actually combine my work ethic and the skills? And what started to happen is, although my average order was high, but people were starting to sell more than me because they were working more than me, right? And all it took was working a little bit more and breaking it down, working more. Ask yourself every day, what can I do more? What's the one more thing that I can do today that's going to make a difference for my business, for my life? I wrote down some scenarios here. You guys can't really quote me on the exact amount because I know they changed some of the pay scales, so don't quote me on this. But scenario 1 or 2, if your average order is 250, which is not much, but you make sure you get 15 appointments every week, and you have 10 orders, and we know that there's 10 weeks left for the summer, that's about $25,000. And if you're at maybe like a couple grand or $5,000 or whatever, and what do they call it? The dirty what? Dirty. Now, scenario number 2, if your average order goes up a little bit, $400, 15 appointments, same thing. You just make yourself better. You still keep that same work ethic. That's $35,000. You're already dirty 30 plus bonus or whatever, and like you have that kind of income. Who knows what the average income for a college student is? $1,750. That's probably recent. Average $2,000, $2,500, about the same, right? That's nothing. That's nothing. And usually you're just serving people or doing something that's not going to really make you a better person anyway. In fact, you might even hurt your liver doing it. So think about how you can. You know what? I'll tell you. Take pride. Take pride in working hard. I gotta tell you guys, I work very hard. I wear about 8 different hats between my Cutco business and all the leadership things and then angel wings. But I take pride in working hard. I take pride in working smart. Take pride in that. Be that person I can stand. I work harder than anybody else this summer. Take pride in that. So, this is my little joke for my talk. I love giving one little joke. How much time do I have? Okay, good. All right, so we're going to wrap this up with my little joke. You guys ready? Who here knows this joke? 1 person, 2, 3, 4. Okay, perfect. All right, so who can tell me what's the difference between the chicken and the pig? Well, you can't say anything if you know the joke. Who could guess? Chickens are smarter. Okay. Pigs are smarter. Okay, one more. I'll take one more. Somebody told me the other day the chicken's cool. Here's the difference in the chicken and the pig, guys. The difference between the chicken and the pig is the difference between being committed and being involved. And so my thought for you as you hopefully grasp what I shared with you today is, what are you going to be in the next 2.5 months? Are you going to be committed, or are you going to be involved in Cutco? That's the question I want you to ask yourself. But now, here's the reality behind this picture. The chicken was, who can guess who was committed, who was involved?
Which one's committed?
Which one's committed?
The chicken. No, the
pig. Why is a pig committed? Because the pig had to die for the dish when you have eggs and bacon. The chicken only had to give the egg. That's one of my favorite jokes. I hear it from my customers. So ask yourself, are you going to be a chicken? Or are you going to be a pig this summer? Thank you.
Also, he's going to intro the breakout.
How sexy was that dog? Can I get some noise for Andy, please? If you thought that was good, we've got the goods for you next. So, that being said, guys, we're going to do breakouts. Everyone who's under 10K in sales, stay in this room. If you're over 10K in sales, you're going to be